everybody, and welcome back to the NLC. We're on to our fourth and final game of the day. This is going to be Domino versus Riddle. Champ Select is coming very soon, so I think before we do that, before we talk about this game, there was a little video which I've been told I need to run to kind of talk a little bit about some of the stakes for winning or losing this game.
Hello NLC, I'm Pride from Domino. You've probably seen me as the most interviewed person this season. That's a good meme. Sadly, this season hasn't been going that great for us. And right now, we're going to be facing Riddle in our second to last match. And we're fighting for 6th place, yes. But sometimes it might be hard for players to find motivation when you're not really fighting for the top. So I decided to give them a little gift. This is how it looks here in Norway, in Tromsø at the moment. I decided, since it's -degrees outside, and my players need something motivating to win and to crush Riddle, if they beat Riddle today, I will do the interview somewhere in this pile of snow. Just in shorts. So, yeah. See you on the interview panel later.
He better be lying in that snow. Yeah. He better be making snow angels during the interview. Well, do you know what? I'm gonna ask him to do it if he's not anyway. I'm gonna say lie down, have a lie down. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more serious now though, and talk about like what this game means. Ultimately, Riddle still want to win this game because they want to be within a chance of staying in the top 2. Right now, Ruddy are hot on their heels, and with Ruddy winning their game earlier, Ruddy are technically tied right now with Riddle in wins. So if Riddle win this, they'll then be up to 11 wins over Ruddy, who are now on 10. I think the crucial thing is obviously they're playing for top 2. If you're top 2, you go into that winners bracket, which means, first of all, if you drop into losers bracket, you'll be at the end of the losers bracket. You don't have to trog through that. Yep. But also, if you win that, you just go straight into the grand finals. I know because of that, this is probably going to be quite a serious game here from Riddle. I don't think they have room to play around or mess around. They are absolutely going to be playing for that. On the other side, Domino are a weird team, right? Like they've looked at times like a team who've challenged so many people, but their ability to close out and utilize the leads they have has just been non-existent, unfortunately.
No, yeah, absolutely. And before we get on to Domino, I just want to quickly say that Riddle, before I forget, because I have terrible memory, the Riddle are playing Nord tomorrow. So if they win today and then beat Nord tomorrow, I think they can come out on top on first. That's why this game is even more important. Yeah, or tied, and there's a tiebreaker, right, which is really hype. But yeah, no, to say with Domino, yeah, they're completely weird. I think weird is apt. That's a really good word to describe them. If you guys watch LEC, I compare them most to Team Heretics. They're the Team Heretics of NLC because, you know, honestly, like whenever you watch Domino, you're just asking yourself how they're going to throw, because typically, you know, they're actually pretty good in the early game, right? They will get leads. They'll do creative stuff. They'll have crazy drafts you can't predict, right? I think recently they've been going hard with Rel over the past week. And then also they've been playing Silas in the jungle, which is just, you know, unexpected. And it's working. They find ganks with it, you know, which is, it might be questionable because I think they did that versus Unique, but still really hard to prepare against, but still mid-game. At the very least, I think we'll get an explosive game, which is probably going to be the most fun one of the day.
I will say, actually, just kind of going off your point you made there, if Riddle win versus Nord, they tie with Nord. If they lose versus Nord and Ruddy win tomorrow, they tie with Ruddy. If they lose today and then lose tomorrow, Ruddy overtake them and they go third, which means they then have to play in the lower bracket.
So winning good.
Winning good.
Winning good.
As always, winning good. But yeah, actually, quite a lot of stakes on the line there. I keep saying stakes as if I'm, you know, a grill or something. A lot on the line.
Okay.
High. Well, give me another word for steak.
Hold
on.
Oh gosh, my vocabulary. You do not. No, I do not have great vocabulary.
Steak synonym. While I'm waiting for
steak synonym.
I don't have chat open. A fish steak? No. High stakes synonym.
High stakes synonyms. Odds? No, that's not the kind of thing we're thinking. I feel like we're going
win
off
or
on a tangent.
lose, desperate. Inflexible,
there you go.
zero sum, high stake, make or break.
Make or
nothing.
break is a good one. I like that one. But no,
Winner take all. It doesn't say takes all. It's winner take all. Inflexible. I don't really see that one. Uncompromising. Oh, I guess that's on the other side.
man is just on the dictionary.com.
Mate, synonyms. If you're trying to expand your vocabulary. Apparently, I can't even use words. Synonyms are.
There you go, mate.
Where's Champ Select?
It's all good. I just want to talk about Riddle as well.
Go on.
I really hope last week they were purely experimenting, specifically in their second game, because the first one, there's no doubt, right? They were playing Sion on Banderas, who's never played it before, and they started not in lane. They did a whole lane swap angle with assisting their jungler by using Sion passive to leash, right? So I think that was experimentation, and that's fair to call. But the game after that, where they played against Verdant, the hot topic is how did they lose to Verdant? How did Riddle lose to Verdant, right? I think the man of the hour, you gotta take a look at what happened to Banderas that game. I love Banderas, and he always hovers my main champion Renekton, so much love to him. But he didn't have a great one, right? So I want to see them, maybe pull out their best stops. They're trying to find an identity. I think Banderas said in the interview with their new substitute. Jinjo came in last week or the week before, and they're still trying to figure out how to play with him. They're putting him on Caitlyn lanes, right? I think they could definitely be flexible. I think Riddle are definitely a most flexible team and definitely play the most meta. So as far as bans go, I'd imagine the meta bans come in.
Alrighty, well, so far, you are correct. A lot of meta bans. Obviously, the Banderas Fiora special has been banned away as well. I mean, we have seen that twice today now, I believe, maybe 3 times. We had quite a lot of Fiora bans. We have a lot of Fiora players in this league. Let's see what the next ban is going to be. The Akali from Fire Rain. It's not just Paul who's scary on that one. Fire Rain is also a mean Akali player. And now rocking down a little bit further into the ban phase. Caitlyn is still up and available. The Elise, the Sejuani, the Annie is now gone. I think we could see some interesting picks here. This could be like a Kate Lux lane or a Kate Morg lane.
No, absolutely.
Potentially showing up here.
I think also the Akali ban signals to me that maybe they're going for a Sylas. So last week they flexed Sylas. Okay, they early picked Sylas and they flexed it around. And Akali is a counter to Sylas. Okay, so maybe they're banning that preemptively to pick Sylas and try that again to cheese Riddle, right? With those early ganks from Sylas jungle or Sylas mid lane, playing Sylas mid 2 could also indicate an early Azir priority. So Akali is a go-to answer into the Sylas, but just Talia. I know we don't talk about hovers, but Domino is such an interesting team with draft. I feel like I have to. Is the Talia early pick?
There it is. The Talia is going to get locked in there. I'm going to make the assumption that that's mid. I think Vi's a good answer here. I mean, you could also go for Elise as well. Yeah. We know that's very strong at the moment, but I think obviously the Vi giving you good target selection, especially when we don't know what the AD carries look like. But for now, we'll see what the game plan is going to be. Okay, that's a Renekton lock-in. I actually really want to see Shackle on Elise here.
Yes.
Renekton Elise top lane dive is just like one of the most disgusting combos in early games. So that is an option here. I feel like, now looking down towards the other side of the map, you could just go for that Caitlyn Lux, especially when you're seeing the potential for a lot of top lane presence on the jungler. Playing something that will have a lot of pressure in that bot side, or can poke and control the lane is going to be big. I totally forgot Varus as a champ. I've been talking about the Caitlyn. Varus also just very pokey and lane control-y. He's been banned all day, so forgive me for forgetting that he's a champion. We'll see what they do decide to pair that up with, though. Yeah.
So melee champions synergize with Sejuani the best, but ultimately Varus is a very flexible champion. There's the melee support that probably synergizes with Sejuani, just offers so much CC. On top of that, you're probably going to be paired off with more melee champions in mid and top lane. Just want to explain the Renekton and the Talia a little bit. The reason why I'm a bit scared of Elise is because if you go all 3 of those champions, you fall off a cliff, right? You actually fall off a cliff if you do not successfully accelerate, which, that has been Domino's strength, so maybe they want to, opt for that, but I would definitely pick jungle here. I think Vi also synergizes pretty well with the Talia and doesn't fall off as hard, but there it is. There's the Sylas. I think they're going to flex it.
I mean, there's some serious power in it already. I mean, you got the chains, you got the glacial prison, yeah, and then you've obviously got the depth charge as well. You got some really, really powerful ultimates to steal away, and let's say on the other side, Banderas decides to play like a Gnar here into this Renekton in the top side. Suddenly, the Gnar's also a really good ultimate. So you kind of have to also keep in mind, what can we pick into these lanes, but also isn't going to just be turned on us horrifically by something like a Sylas. Really, really interesting now how much Sylas can really shake up that draft. As the Viego is going to be getting banned away here.
So last week we actually saw Riddle do the exact strat I was talking about early on in the day, where you flex the Sejuani to a lane into mid lane, because we've seen Fire Rain play Sejuani, and you pick the Viego, and you have that really nutty setup combo with Viego and Sejuani in the mid jungle, and then you just bully the mid lane.
Asol.
Yeah, Asol is enabled. Wow, we haven't seen it once.
How has Asol not shown up until
you're letting
now?
us down. What is happening?
Do you know what? I thank you. I think Asol is the most boring mid laner in the game. Like, he just completely... You have to play something like LeBlanc into it just to have, like, an interactive lane, and then he just outscales anyway, and he just sits back and does nothing all game. It's so boring. So I appreciate you guys for not playing Asol.
I think
go on.
Sorry, yeah, just into Nautilus, you like typical counters. I think you want Peel for the Cephalios, so I think you either go Braum or maybe Tom Kent just reaching because the lane might be too rough. But I think you typically just go Braum here. It's really good into all the hard engage. Victor is the typical answer. Control mages in general, rather, is the typical answer into the Talia. Just the outrange and keep her pushed in so she cannot roam, because that's really important here. And then the last, to round it out, you get the Lee Sin, and Korean Lee Sins, man, a little bit scared.
Yeah, pretty scary on that front. The final pick up here, obviously looking towards that support. Lulu's open. You've got Nephelios. I feel like that's kind of a pretty comfortable one there on that front. Obviously, you are playing into range and engage, but okay, I believe you mentioned Rel, actually.
Yeah.
Rel's quite a nice one here. Obviously, you can turn off... There's 3 shields right now, and she can turn off all of them with her Q. So, actually, quite a nice pickup. I'm curious what you think about these drafts, because... honestly,
I'm excited.
I like both of them. I think both of these drafts are very fun. I think like the kind of mid-game skirmishing that Domino have is really, really scary to play into.
Even early game, right? You have so much setup in every single lane. Yesterday we saw Silas. Is it going to be Talia jungle? They've actually swapped it around. I thought it was going to be Silas jungle because they played it last week. Really, really nice. Anyway, last week we saw Snabby going in on Rel, finding engages, facilitating ganks. Now they have the option to go top lane with Talia Renekton. This is actually a really standard combination. Pretty similar to Elise Renekton, where Renekton empower stuns, and then you just facilitate the flip into a load of rocks, and you one-shot the enemy top laner. Actually,
this is a nasty one.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really concerned for Banderas. I think Renekton beats Sejuani pretty handily. You play the whole HP to mana sustain war of attrition, right? And then Renekton just wins. However, there are a lot of tools, so expect a bloody early game. This is over today. We've had a lot of like slow early games. Expect a bloody early game this game, because you have so much setup in so many lanes. There will be blood.
I have wanted a bloody early game, because we've had some very, very slow games. I think it's just kind of partly due to the way that the meta has gone. But damn, I am so here for it. I am so here for like some early violence. If these guys sit and farm, I will throw a chair out of the window. I will not be a happy panda. I'm just so excited to get into this final game. I think some of the games have been way more exciting than I expected. Some of the games have actually been a little bit less exciting than ones I expected. I felt like Ruddy Verdant was going to be a really banger game, and then Ruddy absolutely slammed Verdant. And then I thought Unique were just going to walk over Natives, and then Natives put on an absolutely terrific performance. So this final game has room to deliver. Cool little fact, Aragon. That duck, I believe, has a 5% chance to spawn every game. But on tournament server, it has a 100% chance to spawn.
Really?
That little duck there.
Lovely. It's so cute.
Shows up every game. I believe they did name it in previous seasons. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a name for the duck. I think me and Jamada gave it a name. We gave it a normal name, and then I think Namira and Initialize gave it like an Eldritch Horror name, which it's just a duck, bro. It's just a duck. It ain't that deep. Anything you want to talk about while we wait to get back into the game, other than ducks? Unless we can talk about ducks.
Synonyms for ducks. Go.
There is no synonym for ducks, because ducks are ducks. Like,
Quackers.
You can go for other aquatic birds. You have penguins. You have geese.
That's
you have
true.
swans. You have cranes. Trying to think of other.
I just realized we have pictures for the NLC players because of Media Day. Oh, shout out to Riddle. They actually went and did a Media Day, and all the players went. I saw Banderas flexing on my Twitter timeline. You know, massive guy there, goes to the gym. Pure top lane muscle right there. And yeah, no, they all went and they all met up, which was super nice. Wholesome. I love that. Yep.
Did you not see the player cameras in the previous games?
I didn't, but now we have proper pictures.
We had cameras, man. How did you miss that? We had cameras of players. Yeah, our producer is deeply upset with you after that. I mean, all this work, they're sending their cameras over to production, and you don't even notice it.
Disaster.
It's weird. Did we ever meet at the old production, like the old media days, back in the LVP days? Because I was at them.
No. I think I saw you at an Insomnia. I think that's where
Did you not speak to me at the? I spoke to lots of people. But because those production days, those media days, we had like all of the players at that studio in London.
Man, that was in 2019. That was 5 years ago.
That was when you were in the opening sequence. You were in the title sequence to the show, man.
Yeah.
Reading Aragon.
Glory days. Anyway. Lots of action coming down. You could see Talia, Shackle on this Talia has path down, skipping camp, so maybe he looks for some action bot side. You could see that they are pushed in bot side too. Look, Shackle walking down. I think he's going to do his Gromp now, but still. Johan opting to full clear. We see this pretty typically instead, so maybe some action bot side. I hope so. Please give me action early game. I need it.
Yeah, I need. It's like coffee to me. I don't drink
there
coffee.
It is.
I drink action in a game as the knock-up has landed onto Kiba. Kiba pops the shield, and I think he's just going to go walk about and try and avoid giving the kill over to the wrong person. Doesn't give it over to Larry, which I think Jinjo's going to be somewhat happy with as first blood goes up there. But here comes the top lane action. They're looking for the permafrost lockdown, and Flumpen. I'm pretty sure somebody said this was a counter matchup for the Renekton.
In fairness, it is 2v1, but Flumpen did just die to base damage. That was pretty nutty. Sejuani, if anything, does have a lot of burst, right, as a top laner. So that burst just coming down with a double melee. Still, I want to highlight Snabby, because whilst their mid game isn't great, and he does run it down a little bit in the mid game, that might not entirely be on him. He does find the gank setup consistently. This is 3 out of 3 of his last games on Rel. Maybe you have to ban it soon, tomorrow, you know. But he has managed to find gank facilitation like in both games. So really, really good stuff by him. Finding that flip onto Kiba and just catching him off guard. Is Fiumbun dead again? No.
You say that. If this kick lands, he's in danger. Oh, he's gone. Flumpen. He's being Crocodile done dead, I guess.
What is going on? Is he just trying to crash the wave without the jungler's assistance? I think what he needs to do is just chill in a bush there, wait for his jungler to come and get like cover whilst he crashes the wave. Otherwise, he's trying to crash the wave and he just can't do anything. And as Renekton, you really can't fall behind. You're losing out on these potential dive win conditions or, you know, on anything because you're Renekton. Your champ does not scale. It's really painful to play into resistances. And now you've accelerated the Sejuani towards a Barmies or a Bramblevest.
I mean, look at that Lee Sin as well. Fire Rain is not Fire Rain. Johan is unbelievably happy.
Yeah,
like you said, Korean Lee Sins, man, it's scary. And you just give him a Sejuani, and they're going to be sitting pretty. Hasn't even been to base yet, so this is going to be a fat buy. Can we quickly see how much gold he's got going into this base? Oof. Okay, so he just gets
a whip and a longsword.
He just gets whipped immediately.
He's nutty. I would not like to be here against him. He's going to hit level 6 soon as well. Comes out of base, probably has a whip longsword or whip. Wait, what? Really? Wow, I'm so surprised. Maybe. Okay, so this is a discussion that I saw a while back where you just get pickaxe or core fields first as a jungler because the whip active doesn't get much value in the clear, right? And you'd rather just get more damage. Maybe that's what he's thinking, getting a balance of damage plus pickaxe anyway. But see, look at those traits. It's still not that bad for Fiumbun, but it won't last, right? It just won't last. And look at the base damage trading back.
Oh, he's dead. Bam. And that is a dead crocodile. Wait, how much gold did he just give over? I didn't see that properly. Okay, Kiba getting jumped onto here by Larry. The cleanse comes out. Larry's got a bunch of damage. Shackle gets the knockback. They jump, but Johan is here with the pickaxe, and he is slapping right now. Low HP, though, needs to dodge away as the arrow comes in. Jinjo goes for the flash forward. Lands the arrows as in comes Shaolin for the turnaround. Jinjo can't save the day. Shaolin is kicked back, and he finds the kill.
And Shackle lives on 1 HP and 0 mana. That was so close, but look how good Domino is at the early game. Yes, Fiumbun isn't having a great game, but they're managing to find skirmishes and a lead. And this is exactly where I have to ask myself, how will they throw? But still, look, Jinjo flashing forward. This is such good awareness that you can find lethal here by flashing forward with the Halo Blades or the lethal tempo stacks. All right, I forgot which one it has. Yeah, Lethal Temper Stacks walks forward, almost gets Shackle with the help of the caster minions. But then Shaolin managed to actually find a roam in the melee vs ranged matchup, actually getting priority to move, which is very peculiar. He must be doing something pretty good in lane.
Holy moly. You were right. I'm a happy
Lots
boy.
of action.
I'm a happy boy right now, mate.
It's great.
Action, action, action. God, I really do miss Riddle, actually. It's a bit of a shame that, you know, engaged supports, you know, for a while weren't really that relevant.
Little bit dead,
it's
right?
nice to see them kind of making a semi-return as well. I mean, we've had actually engaged supports all day. We only had like one Lulu, which is quite surprising to me. But I'll take it. I'm way happy with it. I love seeing the likes of your Rails and your maybe not Nautilus, because Nautilus hook is ridiculous.
Look at that level difference. Oh, yeah, it was 7 to 5 at the time.
They've got Sheen Kindle Gem.
Opting for more damage, but yeah. Okay, so I want to give some context as to why I have so little hope in Domino actually carrying out the lead. Yes, last week, you know, just to give an example of how they threw, this was exactly the same. I'm getting deja vu, and I think the players are too. They had a lead just like this. Shackle had the biggest lead, and I don't know who coordinates the ganks and the dives and, you know, all the plays early game, but it feels like it's Shackle because it always works whenever he goes to them. Right? Maybe he's communicating the way manager or whatever. Regardless, come mid game, prepping around dragons, it feels like someone always gets picked or chunked, and then they can't find the engages. Like Snabby last week would get chunked before being able to find a fight and an engage, and then Shackle would just die. Right? And then this would chain into everything, into a Baron, and eventually they just lose. And it's really sad because you want to love Domino. You really do. You just have so much belief when they get fed so consistently.
A little bit of a trade out there while you were talking in the mid lane. Shaolin and Fire Rain. You just exchange ultimates, and Gentleman's agreed to walk away. Fire Rain's actually probably happier with that because his teleport is up, so he can just clear the wave, reset, get his health back, and then probably have a lost chapter. Shaolin has gone for the rower as a... Oh, no. Okay, there's no crocodile in lane, so he's not under any threat. I think he just hung about actually to make sure that Banderas does get the shove in here, and Banderas can then take a reset.
Yeah. Honestly, if I'm Fjumbun at this point, you know, respect to him, sticking to his guns, still going for that gold drinker, but at this point I'm just buying a Radiant Virtue. I'm just being a full tank, you know? You're never going to be relevant. Even if you complete your gold drinker, like, it's just not happening. Right? It's absolutely not happening, just way too far behind the curve. You see the plates given over to Banderas, using those Demolish Rocks now as well. And still, really good stuff coming in from the top jungle. This is what I wanted to see, because they have been struggling recently. Banderas last week was finding a really hard time on his Camille. Nice to see him do well on tanks, because I don't think we've seen him do play Sejuani yet.
Actually, Fire Rain decided to stay in lane. Obviously, wants to get a little bit more gold before they base. Maybe they just don't have that lost chapter gold yet. I'd be surprised if they don't, but I'm just going to hang about a little bit longer before they decide to go for the full reset. But out of mana and half HP, probably now's the time. Yeah. Johan is on that top side of the map. You can see, obviously, the rotation of both Snabby and Shackle towards the top side. I think they want to try and maybe somewhat fix what's going up on the top side. Banderas able to jump away with that Arctic Assault. He doesn't have flash, remember, so he is very susceptible to being cut off by the wall if his Arctic Assault's on cooldown. Keeper's coming into the mid lane, has the depth charge available, but isn't going to throw it down. And Fire Rain is just going to be able to catch this wave. Now that he's got that lost chapter and a Fiendish Codex on that base, he's got a lot of damage, and, you know, mana's not going to be a real issue anymore with the tier and the Fiendish Codex.
Yeah, I mean, look at the scoreboard. It's the Battle of the Junglers, isn't it? Both of them are completed item. Top lane, at the very least, is very relevant too, but, you know, Sejuani's not going to carry so hard outside of some nice engages. I really do think it's on Johan versus Shackle. This is the battle right now, and honestly, two of the best junglers in the league, and that's really high praise to Shackle, I know, but he's so consistently performing so well every single early game that I can't not say that, you know? He's more consistent than so many other junglers in the league with better teams. So,
yeah.
Just seeing how this goes forward, I really want to see them put on a show. I want to see them both carry their teams to potential victory, you know?
Absolutely. And I mean, the gold lead, you know, very, very, very slightly Riddle favored. I think, though, that could be flipped here if they find a pick in the bot lane and then transition that into the Herald on the pocket. They, on the side of Domino, seem to have read this play fairly well as they brought Shackle over into the area. And I think with Shackle being here, it's a little...
Wait, what?
Banderas just solo Klumpman.
Fjumbun, are you okay, mate? What's going on? Did you just die?
Well, he's getting...
Ignite
he's
used.
absolutely smashed in top lane. That's what's happening.
Well, he does have TP to get back to lane real quick, so it's not the end of the world, but man, you really don't want to see it. That one item power spike from the Iceborne Gauntlet Sheen,
Fire rain.
bit too much.
Oh, he's got flash. They're going to flash over
Snabby?
the wall and chase for him. Snabby goes in. Fire rain throws everything down, gets shoved back, tries to get out, and Snabby able to survive that. Domino, it looked like a bit of a whiff play, but it worked.
And this is why they're picking it over and over. Oh my goodness. That was a pop. What? Sejuani base damage.
Yeah, that was an ouchie.
Yeah.
600 gold as well into the 3-0 Sejuani. I'm sure Flumpen just saw that happen and just let out the biggest sigh of his life. Okay, I guess.
I mean, I think this is why the Sejuani is the 4th most banned champion, right? 4th most banned globally. Pretty broken, right? Just does too much damage. All the other junglers around her are just getting nerfed, but she's being left alone. And now you can flex her. You can absolutely flex her. It looks like 3 people on Riddle can play Sejuani now. So we're seeing more and more diversity from Riddle, and I think this is actually kind of it counts as experimenting, right? Banderas has never played this champion before, and it's still working. So well done to them.
Absolutely, Flumpen. Whoop. Oh, my word. I actually don't think he wanted that. I don't think he wanted that. I think he let that happen.
Cancel the altar, press the S key, maybe. I think it's pretty easy to just press Q when you see the Sejuani there, so I kind of agree. I feel like Flumpen's mechanically adept enough that he just would cancel that. But Dragon up in a minute. Let's see how both teams prep for this. You can see Snabby running around with Shaolin here, trying to secure some vision. Lots of vision down for Riddle already. And can we just say, with nameplates off, you would not expect this to be, these teams. Like, actually, right? Domino are doing so well, but they are a 2-10 team. What is happening? The scores are inverted.
This is Domino every time we cast them. Every time I see them, you're like, man, Domino look way better than a 2-10 team. And it's just tragic. I mean, it comes down to when they're ahead, they just don't know how to close their games out. And yeah, sure, there is a gold lead over to the side of Riddle. I think largely, in fact, to their top jungle. But, it's always really, really sad to see with these guys. Because I feel like this is a team with, insane potential. And I said it last time we casted them. But I still stick by the fact that I actually think if this Domino stays together, going from spring to summer, they have some serious potential. Because I feel like whatever issues they have can be worked on in off-season. And they could come in and actually be a monster team next season.
This is the kind of team where, you don't immediately consider just booming the roster, right? Like some other rosters you could say, yeah, just take it apart, mental refresh, pick up new people. But this roster, outside of maybe 1 or 2 changes, you keep them together, you keep the core together, because I agree with you. The P word, potential, I hate it, but I agree. Just some mid-game kings, and then they just iron them out, and they just win. Genuinely, 2 wins, 10 losses does not do this team justice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't do justice, but it also speaks a lot as well. Unfortunately, it's very much like, yes, they are an incredibly capable and, team with a serious amount of potential, but on the other hand, there is a reason they're 2-10.
Yeah.
And I think you always have to kind of keep that in mind. Like, we can sing their praises, we can be as optimistic as we like, but at the end of the day, this season hasn't been great for them, and I think at its core, it really comes down to they have got issues, they have got mistakes. Larry has the murder weapons, by the way, so Jinjo is in danger. He's gonna get himself caught out. Dodges away on the chains of corruption and the seismic shove. Jumps in onto the lands and tries to get the flash away. Larry comes back in with the murder weapons, but the shot from the tower should just about finish him off. Domino, they had it. It was theirs for the taking, and Fire Rain can chase forwards with the Q movement speed, throws down the gravity well into the hook, and that is a triple kill for Fire Rain.
And it's the throw that we talked about. 4 people dead, despite having a 3-1. It's going to be a penta for the whole team. They're all dead. What happened? All of a sudden, they just lose despite being on par. Can he turn this? The healing? No. Well, there goes those hopes. I think the prophecy is true.
It is sad. It is so sad. Look at this play. Jinjo just played this phenomenally.
That's
he dodged
true.
So much. He played that so crisp.
Man,
He dodged the seismic shove. He dodged the chains that had stolen from him. Sure, he ate the Moonlight Vigil, but like, man, he bought enough time for his team to mop this up.
It's just so sad. Like, it's actually so sad because I want to love Domino. And I really think they could have been a top 4 team. At one point in the split, I even had them rated over Verdant, right? Legitimately 4th place. But it just never happened. Never came to fruition. And now we gotta hope that somehow they can keep it going, because then they're still not out of it, right? Technically, they're still only done 4K. They can maybe make something happen, but I think Larry's dead again.
Have you heard of caster cursing? Because I think you've just done it. That is Larry getting jumped onto, jumping forward, easy pickup.
Boom. That's the game now.
There it is, it's over.
Yeah.
Dragon not up for a bit. They are going to take this bot lane tower. Mid lane's going to be pretty hard to push because Jinjo is there to make sure that it doesn't go down. It's currently been seen on the chickens. Able to pick those up. As the rest of his team rotated over. Johan comes in with a kick. Does chase in. He actually gets caught out, but the chains of corruption are going to be enough to finish this one up. Jinjo on the on-hit Varus, getting himself a double kill. Kiba hasn't actually got that in range to get for the ulti with no flash. That's just a double kill over to Riddle. Aragon, you've done it. You actually, you said the thing, and you broke the game.
Okay, so hear me out. Imagine if there's a way in League to like do practice duel multiple people and play like the same instances over and over again. Imagine if there's a way for teams to practice mid-game repeatedly. You know, don't you think Domino would just be the best team of all time? Like, they were so clean.
Yeah, no, you are right. It would be cool.
You have to always play early game, and it's like they're just perfect at early game. Shackle, every single sequence early game, they managed to do it, but now it's just imploding. Everything's just falling apart around them, and you can just imagine that Riddle are just going to take a 20-minute Baron. I think that's legitimately on the cards.
Yeah, Gwynzus and
Leandries.
Immortal Shield Bow. You got the Leandries. Yeah, I actually think that is very doable. Also, Banderas is almost on his 3rd item. He's going to have that Abyssal Mask. So, yeah, he's going to be able to tank this for days.
Oh boy, Dragon up in a minute. Let's see them secure some vision, potentially give it up. It looks like they might be giving up. You can see Fjumbun is up top, so maybe he'll TP down, but Riddle, currently full control on the river. Gonna clear out everything. Yeah, Domino don't want anything to do with this. They're gonna try and cross map, maybe look for a Gromp. You know, consolation prize of a Gromp. But Fjumbun is already like freezing up topside, not pushing, so they can't threaten an objective bounty on the top lane outer turret. It's going to be too late. I think if you're Riddle now, what you could do is just send someone topside to clear that wave, because clearly no one is going to come to contest this dragon.
Yeah, Larry, you need to be careful, man. There is a lot of Riddle about. That is a less of an optimistic place. I actually think with this wave, they dive. Yep, here we go. Johan's coming in, lands the kick onto Snabby, can follow it up, comes in for the ward hop kick. There it is. There's the tower and the kill. Dragon's up, but they might just go for tier 2. They got demolished procs as well. Shaolin just about able to avoid that with the abscond and abduct.
I think there was an angle to maybe ward hop after the Q and then flash behind Larry to get a really sick montage Lee kick, but that's why I'm not a Lee Sin player, because I would do that and die. Anyway, they managed to find the crucial pick. Riddle just playing really cleanly and just showcasing their mid-game macro, right? And now you could see, yes, you cross-map a tier 1 turret mid-game on the top side, but that's it. That's it. You lose a player and a dragon, and now you have no soul point win condition. It's just tragic. And there's the panic play. There's the panic play. They decided everything's going wrong. Let's flip a Baron.
That is desperation at its highest. Banderas slides in, says, thank you very much for the kill. I will take you down. Bam. Pick up. Larry has got the murder weapons, but he is murdered in return. Riddle says, thank you for the leash. Thank you
20-minute Baron?
for the points. And there is going to be no opportunity to even attempt to steal this one away. Riddle with a 20-minute Baron. You absolutely nailed it. They may have got a leash on it, but they got it regardless.
Yeah, and you just feel like Domino, they really think they're done, right? You only do a Baron like that for zero reason, with 0 picks on the board, when you think it's the only thing you can do to force a fight and maybe win. But even at the start of the fight, Shackle just drops down to 400 HP and he can't even fight after that. Misses everything, and then Ophelius just gets collapsed on. So now, typical Siege. I imagine this game will end in about 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes.
I think There's a Jamada video which I won't mention because I got in trouble with the BBC for this one. But,
Okay. Okay.
There's a Jamada video online. If you know, you know. I think that's pretty much what the coach is going to be doing to Domino after this.
Oh my word! I remember this. Oh no!
Do you know I got a legitimate complaint from a viewer on the BBC for that? And do you know what was worse? It was Jamada who said it, not me, but I was the one who got the complaint. They're jumping onto Fire Rain, looking for an opportunistic play. He flashes the wall to get away. There he goes. He's out. Shaolin chases him down. No, don't do it. He comes in. The save. No, Banderas unable to do it, but he can chase up with another Permafrost. Boom. Down goes Shaolin. Locked in place. Depth charged. Actually, they don't depth charge. They just lock him in. The dabbing penguin. They did get one. Flumpun may try and get a desperation tier 2 tower, but I think he realizes he would lose his base if he stays. And Riddle, yeah, I think this might be all but done.
Yeah, I think we have about 1.5 minutes left on the clock for the 3-minute end. But yeah, Shaolin, at least they find something, you know, with the hero play, managing to get over the wall. I'm surprised they need to commit flash to that. I'm surprised Fire Rain lived so long, but that's just the power of the Archangel Shield. That item is not okay. Still finding a creative window to find a gank onto Fire Rain, a little bit overextended. Now, Domino just have to try and wave clear. Ooh, that was nice. Oh, that was a smoother ward hop than I could ever do. Wow.
That was like 0 ping.
Yeah, actually.
And your W also is macro to cast a ward at the same time. Anyway, Team 5 breaking out, 3-man knockup, and Larry comes in with a Moonlight Vigil, but he is not going to be getting diddly squat. Double kill over to Fire Rain. The boot out onto Larry, and Jinjo's damage is absolutely enormous. The knockback only puts Fire Rain closer, but Shackle is able to avoid away for this one as tower shots coming in, and it looks like Riddle going to use Banderas as a taxi out of the range of the tower. Able to pick this one up. They've already got the inhibitor top side. Riddle will have to reset, though. They were chunked a little bit too much to win off the back of that.
You know, I think they could have maybe ended. Legitimately, I think they maybe could have just brute forced it, but they want to play it safe. Maybe I'm wrong. I think they could have because they're just so darn fed. But still, it's just all on this top lane duo, right? The second you see Renekton go down 0-4-0, the game's over, right? Renekton, you're now playing 4v5, and they managed to find, maybe it was Banderas. You know, maybe it was Banderas a good wave management trying to facilitate ganks, because we did see Flumpun try to crash waves and it just didn't work. All right, and in the end, the ganks come through and he just falls behind it. You can't do that as Renekton, right? It's really, really brutal. But yeah, props
remember,
to Banderas.
guys, take his advice. Aragon is the king of feeding on Renekton. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what it's like to be down.
Really, really, really true. I do suck at Renekton by now. It's super sad. Bad.
Don't worry, mate. Me and you both play champions that are required to win lane, or they just don't get to play the video game. Renekton LeBlanc. Like, if you don't win lane, it's just like you're not a champion.
Yeah. No, yep. We should play on a team together. Play those and just lose.
I think there's a very, very big rank disparity.
Oh man, who'd be our jungler? Jamada?
Yeah,
bring out
I've
his Kayn.
Jamada. I've played with Jamada. You have orcs in bot lane.
You know, honestly, I'd take it.
I feel like I'd be letting that team down real hard. I'd be such a nuisance. I'd be a problem.
Oh, jeez. Final sequence of events. I think Banderas might just look for an engage here. Domino have to look for an engage now, right? There's no other window. You have to do something. You don't have 3 inhibs. The game's just over. Right? The game's absolutely just over, but decide they want to fight under the Nexus turrets.
Well, it's
Snappy.
Pure League of Legends by the books at this point. All inhibitors will go down, and Domino, they know this game's over. They know this game is donezo. Kiba jumps in. They do throw out a desperation ult attempt here as Fire Rain's coming in. The depth charge is there, and they've already found themselves out 1-for-1 so far, sliding in for more as Fire Rain is going to be mopping this fight up. An ace coming in. Banderas goes down, inting his KDA a little bit at the end, but a 25-minute game, just under that 26-minute mark, as Riddle will take the victory here.
Yeah, and I'm really happy, right? Because Banderas last week did not have the best showing on his Camille, and now I'm really happy because, you know, maybe it proves it's kind of a one-off and they can look forward to E-Masters, because definitely the biggest concern for me for this Riddle roster was how will they look when they're playing against better opposition in solo lanes? You know, they just don't roll their laners.
Yeah.
domestic stomps don't often translate to like international. We've seen that at the top levels, and this is kind of the same thing when you look towards the EMEA Masters, right? And yeah, no, really glad to see such a clean level of performance from Banderas and Johan as a duo.
Yeah, I really clean stuff coming in. That top lane is scary. As we get towards playoffs, like, you can't let that through. Like, Sejuani, Lee Sin, they clearly have practiced that and know exactly how to be rocking that one. Looking like a very scary team. I'm excited to get towards playoffs. Obviously, there's still a little bit more to go. With this win, Riddle are a lot more comfortable in securing first or second. I'm trying to run my head on the math. So right now, Ruddy will be 10-3 and Riddle will be 11-3. Okay, so there is a world where Ruddy win tomorrow and Riddle lose tomorrow, and then you have a tiebreaker between them. At this point, Nord can't be caught because they're 11, so they're on 12. Yep, so Nord is secured into first. That's guaranteed. So that's one of our wins from today. We still don't know between Verdant and Veneer. It's very Verdant favored at this point just because they have that win over Veneer, and they technically have an easier game tomorrow. Also, keep in mind, they're playing Unique, who just lost to the 0-12 natives. So, for the side of Verdant, they're probably pretty comfortable. On the other side, Veneer have to play Ruddy. Tomorrow, it's really about who's going to secure second or third between Ruddy and...
who will be first?
Ruddy and Riddle. Nord are guaranteed first.
Oh, they're guaranteed first at this point.
Because they've got 12 wins, so it's impossible because Riddle have 11. Oh, actually, no, it's not guaranteed.
There can be a tiebreaker, right?
There can be a tiebreaker still.
So,
yeah,
who are you betting on? Right now, bet.
Nord.
Okay.
I think Nord just win their game tomorrow. Because, wait, are they playing Riddle?
Yeah, no, it's Riddle v Nord.
Exactly.
That's a really hype matchup, and that's why I'm saying, who will win?
Damn. I'm gonna say Riddle. Ooh. I think Riddle look way more in control. Again, I guess to be fair, Nord played versus Veneer, who definitely looked like a better team than Domino. But last time we saw Riddle versus Domino, I believe Riddle won that because of no, that was Taxer. That was someone else. I do believe it was still a very close game, if I remember
Producer
right.
is saying who's the MVP, by the way.
Johan?
Johan? No, I think... Oh, actually. Top lane 2v2, right? So it's either Johan and Banderas. I'd give it to Banderas.
I'm going to say Johan. Oh, we got to agree, man. We got to agree.
No. I think it's Banderas. I think he facilitated the ganks well. I genuinely do. I think he shut down his
I'll
lane.
give you that. I think that's a solid argument. Also, our poor producer needs it. It's Banderas.
There you go.
Our producer has also decided for us, but it was Banderas. Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good argument though. Like, he was facilitating Johan to be enabled. He was also like a true gentleman, giving the kills over to Johan. We saw a couple of ones where he could have just taken them with an auto attack, and he made sure that his Lee Sin got them.
Yep.
And accelerated his lead, so he then could move that gold lead around the map, because at that point the Renekton was out, and he was like, I don't actually need this gold. I've already got a kill worth of assists in gold, and like, this guy's down and losing too much. So I think Banderas is a solid shout. But yeah, I mean, going back to our previous conversation, I do think it's Riddle over Nord, because I do think that Nord will still look challenged by Veneer in their game. And last time we saw Riddle play versus Domino definitely challenged Riddle, and Riddle had to bring that game back. This time around, they look way cleaner, and I think they've got their playoff form together.
I'm going to vote Riddle. I'm going to vote Riddle because at the start of the split, I said Riddle will win the entire thing, so I'm kind of just praying that I'm right. That's what I'm going for. I'm going to stick to my guns.
Well, I believe we have a graphic to show you about our MVP. It's been taken away, don't worry. I'll bring that up. Oh, we do have it. Hello, there we are. Okay, so you guys can head over to Twitter and vote for your MVP from our 4 games today. I've got a solid idea who my MVP is. I'm curious who yours is.
Honestly, I'd give it to Baloo. Genuinely.
Yes.
I genuinely think Baloo deserves it. He played so well, especially considering he hasn't had the best form over the split. This was a real nice step up.
I like how we definitely... I've noticed now we have top lane bias. We really have top lane bias on our MVPs coming from you and your votes. Well, wow,
yeah, maybe a little bit.
There. Absolute bias. But no, I think Baloo just... first of all, got Natives their first win. Second of all, unbelievable ultimates. Anyway, we have our interview standing by. I can't remember who we got, so we're going to bring him in. It's Pride, not in the snow. So maybe semi-relieved off the back of that one. How are you doing, mate?
I'm not cold, which is the most important thing here. It's minus 14 Celsius outside. So a little bit
That's
conflicted. Yeah, that's frost. It's actually in the bathroom. There's frost inside now, which is insane. Yeah, but
always a hell of a country, man.
Hell of a country up here in the north.
Nice and cold.
Yeah, very cold. Conflicted about the loss because it looked good in the start, and I just think that tower dive bot was too ambitious. And if that is better executed, or just take the teleport and rotate back top, then you keep the rotation game. That's my opinion of it. But I think we had that. We had them running. It felt like so.
Yeah.
I think that's where the game went very south, and we just lost the whole lead Talia had. But I'm not in the snow, so I'm happy.
It's sad because I really feel like Domino's being this team who I would say has the most potential of any team in our league. Like, potential for growth, at least. Maybe not to be the top, but I think, we've seen some incredible early games coming out from you guys, and, some almost solid mid games, but it seems to just kind of crumble for you. Do you think, as a team, you're happy with where everything's going to be ending at the end of the split, or do you really feel like you didn't hit that potential of this team? This could have been a star roster. What are your thoughts as we are basically at the end of the split?
I think if we had this roster when we first wanted to have a roster lock, then I think it would have been much better. This came very in the middle of the season for us, and we had a lot of swaps. There was a jungle meme at some point, I think. So I think if this was fixed when we wanted to lock the roster, which was months before, or 1 month, I think, before NLC started, that would have been better. But, I think we worked really well with what we had. I could have probably done more. But in the end, we took games. The goal was to win. And we have, won at least 2 games. We have challenged all the teams, I think, very well, especially in the early game. And we have we're not going to be the one that's losing to natives for their first win now, so I'm happy about that. So we're going to make them lose 1 more, so they can go 1-13, is it?
Yeah, it will be 1-13 if they lose.
Yeah, it's not going to be 1-13.
You don't want to be a charity worker and give them their second win.
No. As much as I love Spooder, he has to work for it.
Okay, I just wanted to say, kind of harping on that same point. What are the odds? Because I know it's not natural for ERL teams to stick together, but man, if this roster stuck together, me and Hitbrain were having some delusions about just how good this roster could be next split. Is it unlikely? Do you think it's just not going to happen?
Never say never.
True.
I think, like policy is that we. I don't know how we want to do it anymore. But I think we're all like open-minded, and like if people want to commit, then maybe, perhaps. I enjoy every player. We have fun. Even losing here, they're laughing, So, yeah, I just think if everyone's ready to commit, and we decide on just keeping the roster, then we go with it. If somebody doesn't want to commit, then we find something suitable, But I think all options are open at this point.
I really think this roster has a lot of potential. Yeah, I think it just needed more time. But, it is what it is. Never say never, like you said. But, we'll see the state of Domino coming into summer. I'm very excited to see what you guys look like, because I do feel this could have easily been a 4th place team. It's just, unfortunately, the stars didn't align in that way. Pride, thank you very much for joining us again on the loser side of the interview. Hopefully tomorrow, when we speak to you, because it's normally you, we'll be on the winner's side. We'll see you later, all right?
You know what? If we win tomorrow, I'll swim in the snow, okay? I'll make that.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I kind of want to do it as well, so I have an excuse.
He just wants to play in the snow. He doesn't care about winning or losing. He just wants to play in the snow.
I mean, it's the last game of the split, so we have to make it like some fun, right? It's Domino versus natives, and we're not really playing for anything at this point, so let's make it fun. If we win, I'll swim in the snow.
Perfect. I love it. Pride, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll hopefully see you swimming tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.
And I believe on the other side we have Kiba. Kiba, how are we doing, mate? You alright?
I'm doing pretty good, yeah. Hi.
Yeah, I bet you are. I mean, that was a pretty one-sided game. A bit of an interesting bot lane dive, to say the least. Top lane was just like, that was the saddest Renekton I've ever seen since I've seen Aragon play it. Anyway, I'm sorry, Aragon, I'll stop bullying you.
Why am I
That's
taking
facts,
How was
Wells?
that game for you?
That's facts. That's facts.
Oh, jeez. No,
Yeah.
no. I was okay. Something I wanted to ask, by the way, was going forward tomorrow. I think you have Nord, right? Am I correct in that? Maybe you'd know better. Regardless.
I don't know. I don't check the schedule.
Okay. Regardless, your guys is like, you guys have so much diversity in the picks. I labeled you guys as like the most flexible team. Do you think that's true? And where does that come from? Does everyone on your team can they all play every champion? What is that about?
I think so, but sometimes you just don't do it because you don't want to. But I think we can, but sometimes we just don't want to. So, but I think most of the time we can. But we had clear preferences, I think, and yeah, we are trying to cater a bit away from it because it got kind of obvious what we were doing. And I think after last week, that was the worst draft, bro. Dude, that was the worst fucking draft I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it's literally what happens when you're like talking about draft for so long that kind of draft happens, you know? Like you're like in this mindset.
How many
of,
hours?
Like, I don't even know. I don't know how long Nita was cooking, but that shit was burnt, dude. Like that was cooked. Like we're never doing that again. Like that was too cooked. So like going forward, it was just when we have a discussion, it's just more like now we kind of pull ourselves back when we start cooking a bit too much. I'm like, okay, let's relax a little bit, because like that was not good. So it was a learning experience. So yeah, hopefully we won't do blunders like that again.
Lovely.
I mean, you gotta learn, all right? So I guess before I let you go, I want to talk a little bit about, obviously, playoffs that are coming up. You guys right now are potentially going to be getting that first spot, depending on tomorrow's games and how all that goes down. What does your prep towards playoffs look like? Has it just been more of the same, or have you been kind of doing a little bit extra prep and getting yourself ready for that final run of the split, I guess?
More or less the same. I don't think much really changes, like how you practice. I think the main thing is like being able to play like a full 5-game series. How do I explain, like without feeling tired, kinda. I remember like last year that was really big, like when Dedo brought us snacks and stuff at our bootcamp. That was a complete juicer, you know. Like when we got to game 5 in playoffs, it was over for enemy team because we had the protein bars and stuff. They couldn't win.
Oh man.
But, like all these things, I think that's honestly like what matters more. Like how you make sure you know your own limits to how much you can play, like, and what you need to do in order to perform in a prolonged amount of time. Because everyone probably knows, like, scrimming, the 5th game of scrims is usually horrible. It's like Friday, last classes, maps, like it's about to hit weekend, like no one is carrying in class, you know? Like people are just screaming and it's like a zoo. It's kind of the same in scrims, and obviously on official games you can't have that, so it's just more like that, you know? Like trying to adapt yourself and be ready for
mental, right?
Yeah,
basically.
mental. I think I think prep and stuff. It's kind of like it just adapts all the time, right? Like if you get thrown a curveball in game 1, you just adapt and try and fix it in game 2, right? So yeah.
Do you guys think you'll be better in best ofs than best of ones? What do you think?
I think it'll be really annoying because I won't say too much, but I'm just saying, if people found my secret account in solo queue, there's some cooking going on right now. And like some of the champs you see, like we are flexing a lot of stuff in scrims as well, which a lot of it is also like we don't want to show what we really high prio, because I don't think it's necessary yet. I mean, obviously tomorrow it's an important match, right? But when you play against some other teams, you don't really want to show too much, I think. So for playoffs, I think we'll be very versatile. Compared to, I think there's some teams that won't be as versatile. Like Roddy, for example, I don't think they're that versatile. I think if the Invox is not on a carry, they can't win. I think this is a cold take though. I think most people think this way. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think the jungler plays an early game bridge, top is on dog champ, mid plays push, and they just pray to God that the Invox carries. So like I think we can do more than Dave can, for example. And I think they will suffer more on a BO5 than we will. So yeah.
Some spice coming from
it.
you, Kiba. Thank you very much for the chat. Very, 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 very incisive. That's the word I'm looking for. You are playing Nord tomorrow, so that is going to be an absolute banger of a game. I'm very excited to see that. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll let you rest and see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And that is the end of the day. It is that was a really spicy insight.
Kiba's always hilarious.
On his insight, I love interviews with Kiba.
I love Kiba.
He does not hold back. He does not pull his punches. He's got some takes, but I mean, he walks the walk and he talks the talk.
That's true.
It's the other way around. But you know, he's honestly playing super well. His team have done amazing. I'm so excited to see how they do getting on into that playoffs area. But Aragon, I don't think we have a graphic for it, so I'm just gonna read it out. Tomorrow's games. So tomorrow we'll be starting with Unique versus Verdant, then Nord versus Riddle, Ruddy versus Veneer, and then Domino versus Natives. I would normally ask you what your game of the day is, but I think that's a pretty easy answer, right? Like,
yeah,
it's got to be Nord versus Riddle. We are ending on an absolute banger there, and then we are ending on Domino versus Natives, so literally a zero-stake game, other than maybe seeing Pride go for a swim in the snow and getting frostbite. But yeah, I think honestly, really, really good day. I had some banger games. That final game was absolutely sick from Riddle. And thank you very much for joining us here at the NLC. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, for the final day of the regular split. It feels like we started like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
it's
no, it's gone so fast.
Gone so fast. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.